Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, je vous prie de bien vouloir accueillir Excellence, Monsieur le ministre des Relations extérieures. Je vous prie de bien vouloir vous lever pour accueillir Son Excellence, Monsieur le ministre des Relations extérieures, qui préside cette cérémonie de clôture. Excellences, Monsieur le ministre des Relations extérieures, Monsieur l'envoyé spécial du secrétaire général des Nations Unies, Monsieur le représentant de la Commission du Golfe de Guinée, Monsieur le ministre délégué auprès du ministre des Relations extérieures, chargé de la coopération avec le Commonwealth, Monsieur le vice-président du Sénat représentant Monsieur le président du Sénat de la République du Cameroun, distingués chefs de délégation, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs de mission diplomatiques et représentants des organisations internationales accréditées au Cameroun, distinguées personnalités en vos grands titres et qualités, Mesdames et Messieurs, nous sommes arrivés au terme de la conférence internationale sur l'économie bleue durable dans le Golfe de Guinée, assise qui était placée sous le très haut patronage du chef de l'État, Son Excellence Paul Biya, et qui se sont tenus à Yaoundé les 9 et 10 juillet 2025. This closing ceremony will be as follows. First, we will have the reading of the Yaoundé Declaration. Then we'll have an interlude. Afterwards, the word from the Executive Secretary of the Gulf of Guinea Commission, a speech by the United Nations Secretary General Special Envoy for the Oceans, followed by the interlude, then the closing speech by the representative of the government of Cameroon, His Excellency the Minister of External Relations, and then the end of the proceedings. I would like to ask the audience to stand as we're going to listen to the national anthem of the Republic of Cameroon, performed by the choir of the International Relations Institute of Cameroon, le chœur des internationalistes. As earlier announced, and as we're closing this international conference on blue economy, sustainable blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea, and as the first element of this program, I would like to call upon Ambassador Chituru Chendo, Chargé d'Affaires of the High Commission of Nigeria to Cameroon, to proceed for the reading of the Yaoundé Declaration.
Good evening. The Yaoundé Declaration. Advancing regional cooperation and transparent governance for a sustainable blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea. Preamble. We, the undersigned, acknowledge the Gulf of Guinea as one of the world's richest marine ecosystems, vital to livelihood, food security, and economic development. We commend the government of Cameroon and the president of the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly for convening this high-level conference, providing an opportunity to strengthen regional cooperation and accelerate implementation of global frameworks, including the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, GBF, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the 2030 Agenda, and the Paris Agreement. We affirm the Yaoundé Code of Conduct 2013 and related regional security frameworks, and welcome Cameroon's endorsement of the Global Charter for Fisheries Transparency. We recognize the vital role of small-scale fisheries and blue carbon ecosystems and support their integration into national climate and biodiversity strategies. This declaration aligns with the African Union's Agenda 2063, the African Integrated Maritime Strategy 2050, and the African Blue Economy Strategy. We recall key regional legal instruments, including Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Council of Peace and Security in Central Africa, COPAS, and the Gulf of Guinea Commission, GGC. Challenges and opportunities. We acknowledge strong political momentum for 100% sustainable ocean management by 2030. However, we remain concerned by overfishing, ecosystem degradation, piracy, illegal, unreported, and unregulated IUU fishing, and weak financing. We urge greater regional coordination, transparency, and integration of science and traditional knowledge into ocean governance, as well as greater inclusion of women, youth, and coastal communities. We recognize sustainable ocean plans, SOPs, as critical instruments to integrate ocean-related priorities into national development agendas and its complementarity with the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. We further recognize that achieving a resilient and equitable ocean economy requires strengthened governance of marine resources that upholds the rights of small-scale fishers and promotes food security. In particular, we underscore the importance of safeguarding inshore exclusive zones present in most coastal states in the Gulf of Guinea from unsustainable distant water fishing practices. Enhanced enforcement of these zones, along with more transparent licensing and monitoring regimes, is essential to ensure fair access to marine resources, reduce users' conflicts, and protect coastal livelihoods. We also endorse the development of sustainable aquaculture practices with species appropriate for West African ecosystem as means to bolster food security and diversify livelihoods. In doing so, we emphasize the importance of equity and inclusivity as guiding principles in ocean governance. The voices and knowledge of all stakeholders, including small-scale fishers, women, youth, indigenous people, and local communities, must be meaningfully integrated into policy designs, implementation, and monitoring. Only through participatory and transparent decision-making processes can we ensure that no one is left behind and that the benefits of a sustainable ocean economy are equitably shared across present and future generations. Commitment, sorry. We propose the Gulf of Guinea Commission establish a follow-up mechanism to track progress on this declaration and urge international support to advance implementation. As a next step, we encourage the establishment of a regional task force to coordinate implementation efforts, track progress, and identify opportunities for capacity building, technical assistance, and knowledge exchange. Commitments. 1. Sustainable ocean management and sustainable ocean plans, SOPs. We commit to developing and implementing sustainable ocean plans to guide the sustainable use, protection, and restoration of marine and coastal ecosystems, and to manage 100% of ocean edge areas under national jurisdiction by 2030. SOPs should align with national biodiversity strategies and action plan, national determined contributions, marine economic roadmaps, and development plans. 2. Combating IUU fishing. We commit to strengthening monitoring, enforcement, port state measures, and data sharing to combat IUU fishing. We support stronger cooperation with international partners to close governance gaps. 3. Maritime security. We reaffirm support for the Yaoundé architecture for maritime security to address piracy, trafficking, and environmental crimes, including in areas beyond national jurisdictions. 4. Transparency and governance. We support the Global Charter for Fisheries Transparency and commit to implementing digital vessel registries, publishing data on licenses and quotas, promoting traceability in all fleets, enhancing regional data sharing, and publishing vessel ownership. 5. Finance, innovation, and inclusion. We call for increased sustainable finance, regional investment platforms, and public-private partnerships. Implementation strategies must prioritize gender equity, youth, indigenous people, and local communities. 6. Capacity building and leadership. We support the creation of a regional center of excellence in Yaoundé for training, dialogue, and innovation on the sustainable blue economy. We invite support from partners, academia, and development banks. 7. Ocean observation and data sharing. We commit to enhancing ocean observation systems and open access data to inform marine planning, early warning, and enforcement. We invite United Nations and international support to realize these priorities and propose the GGC led consultations to develop a model law for the sustainable blue economy. We call on all stakeholders to support the vision of 100% sustainable ocean management by 2030, adopted in Yaoundé, 10th July 2025. Thank you.
As a continuation, I would like to call upon the choir of the International Relations Institute of Cameroon to give us an interlude. Next item on our program, I would like to invite the representative of the Commission of the Gulf of Guinea for his word.
Excellency, the Minister Minister Delegate to the Minister of External Relations in charge of cooperation with the Commonwealth. Excellency, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations, the United Nations Secretary General's Special Envoy for the Oceans, members of the Government of the Republic of Cameroon, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps and heads of international institutions, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It is with immense gratitude that I stand before you to deliver the remarks of the Executive Secretary of the Gulf of Guinea Commission at this landmark international conference on a sustainable blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea. Allow me to begin by expressing our appreciation and commendation to the government of the Republic of Cameroon for the warm hospitality extended to us and for the collaboration with the United Nations and other partners in organizing such a significant and timely conference. I believe we can all agree that this gathering has been resounding success. Since yesterday, we have exchanged insights, posed critical questions, and engaged in spirited dialogue that has held us accountable to other shared visions. This conference has not only reaffirmed the vast potential of the Gulf of Guinea, its maritime domain, but it has also laid bare the urgency for a collective action to address the many maritime challenges to leverage the full value of our maritime resources for nation building. Every item on the agenda has been highly relevant to the pressing issues we face in the region. The sessions have been expertly moderated, drawing out thoughtful and impactful presentations from all speakers and relevant questions and contributions from delegates as well. We have been challenged to unlock the full value of our maritime resources, which can currently contribute less than 10% to the region's GDP, as we were told yesterday. If the Gulf of Guinea is indeed richly endowed, then it is imperative that we, as stakeholders, harness its potential more effectively to drive the socio-economic development of our nations and ultimately the African continent. Our speakers have underscored the importance of the blue economy in achieving key international and continental development goals, particularly the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the Africa Union's Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. The Gulf of Guinea has also been recognized as a vital global route, making it central to the successful implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. While the region's potential has been clearly articulated, so too have the threats that could undermine our progress. The inextricable link between maritime security and sustainable blue economy has been a recurring theme. Issues such as ocean health challenges, biodiversity loss, climate change, and illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing have been brought to the fore. We have been called upon to address these root causes of resource depletion and the looming extinction of certain fish species. We have also been urged to invest in technology and research, to take stock of our maritime assets, and to ensure effective management, transparency, and accountability. The depth of the discussions we have had are a testament to the quality of this conference, which have been made possible by the kind courtesy of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Cameroon, and also with the support of the United Nations and other partners. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, we are deeply grateful for this powerful and timely intervention. Yesterday, we were reminded that while this conference is important, the actions we take forward are even more critical. These actions must lead us towards our shared long-term goal, a sustainable blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea. Technical and financial support has long been a constraint in our efforts. However, this conference has allayed many of these concerns, with partners expressing unwavering commitment to support us in diverse ways. The renewed commitment also challenges us to establish robust accountability mechanisms to utilize the support that will be provided efficiently and effectively. We now have no excuse but to work together to deliver tangible and evidential results. On maritime governance front, the Gulf of Guinea Commission is working in close collaboration with the African Union Commission, the Indian Ocean Commission, and other strategic partners to establish appropriate maritime security governance structures for the continent. At our most recent joint meeting in Rwanda in December 2024, stakeholders mandated the AUC, that is the African Union Commission, to take the lead on maritime security governance with support from regional mechanisms and economic communities. An action plan to that effect was subsequently submitted to the AU Peace and Security Council for approval and funding. The Gulf of Guinea Commission welcomes the commitments outlined in the declaration and reaffirms its readiness to fulfill the responsibilities assigned to it. However, we count on your continued support in delivering the 7 commitments articulated therein. The Commission was established as a platform for cooperation, and the discussions and commitments we made at this conference are fully aligned with its founding purpose. At the 3rd extraordinary session held in Accra in April 2023, the heads of state and government of the Commission resolved to expand membership to include all 19 coastal states from Angola to Senegal, including Cape Verde. As a result, the executive members were tasked with assessing the implications of this expansion on the Commission's treaty. A review process is currently underway to amend the treaty to accommodate the expansion drive. Excellencies, the implementation of the commitments from this conference presents a unique opportunity for the ocean to unite us to work collectively, leveraging our respective strengths to achieve synergy and deliver optimal results. The commitments in the declaration have mandated us with a vision and a mission. The Gulf of Guinea Commission stands ready and fully accepts the responsibility to establish a follow-up mechanism to monitor progress. The coastal states we represent as delegates constitute the Commission, and for that matter, we are all parts of the Commission. And our international partners have expressed their readiness to support us. The government of the Republic of Cameroon has also pledged its full support. Now, we must rise to the occasion. Now, on the next steps. Following this conference, we will convene an initial online meeting to share reflections on the outcomes and the feedback we received from our respective countries after reporting to our principals. The insights from this meeting will inform the development of a project critical path, which will be translated into a concept note for engagement with the United Nations. Our objective is to establish a task force and thematic task teams in collaboration with our partners and subject matter experts. Once there is clarity on the strategic approach, a comprehensive program will be developed with the technical support of our partners. We will then finalize timelines, commence implementation in earnest. We are committed to engaging all stakeholders at every stage of this process to ensure shared ownership and collective success. Furthermore, we will elevate key issues requiring political commitment to the agenda of the next Gulf of Guinea Commission Heads of State Summits, ensuring that they are prominently captured in the communique for dissemination and implementation by member states. We will also leverage our political goodwill and presence within the African Union, ECAS, and ECOWAS to mobilize further support. These tentative arrangements are subject to further discussions based on a concept note and program for the online meeting we will convene in the coming weeks. Excellencies, in conclusion, the Gulf of Guinea Commission firmly believes that this conference marks the beginning of a new era. It offers a renewed opportunity to build a cohesive working relationship and to develop a sustainable blue economy that drives economic transformation, inclusive growth, and development across our region and the African continent. To the organizers, sponsors, technicians, protocol team, delegates, and all who contributed to the success of this conference, we say thank you for a good job done. And thank you all also for your kind attention.
The International Conference on the Sustainable Blue Economy in the Gulf of Guinea, organized in Yaoundé during these past 2 days, had two major segments, a high-level segment and a scientific and technical segment, during which a lot of topics were discussed during roundtables, ranging from building a sustainable blue economy in geopolitical context of the Gulf of Guinea, sustainable fisheries and coastal livelihoods, but also maritime safety, security, and governance of the blue economy, and blue economy in Cameroon, current situation and prospects. And like we said earlier in the opening ceremony, this international conference.
What a great pleasure it's been these last 2 days to have been here with you all at this Gulf of Guinea conference, sharing our ideas and our experience and our visions for the future. On behalf of all of us who are visiting Yaoundé, I'd like to express deep gratitude, Minister, to the government and people of Cameroon for the warmth of your hospitality and for inviting us all to convene with you in this beautiful country. Before I give some concluding remarks on the development of a sustainable and regenerative blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea in particular, allow me to make a couple of points about the state of the ocean. You may have heard my daily mantra, no healthy planet without a healthy ocean, and the ocean's health is currently measurably in decline. The corollary of that mantra is that, ruled as we must be by the principle of intergenerational justice, we must stop and reverse the decline of the ocean's health. We must make sure that message is heard as loudly in the schools and streets as it is in the cabinets and boardrooms of the world. In a nutshell, to stop the decline of the ocean's health, we must rapidly transition away from burning fossil fuels, moving to an equitably electrified world powered by renewable energy. Do that and we give ourselves a fighting chance. Stop ocean warming and accelerating sea level rise and the altering of ocean currents and the death of coral and the loss of marine biodiversity and ocean acidification and deoxygenation and the worst of climate change. We must heed the urgency of the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, under which we agreed, when I say we, all nations of the planet, agreed to protect 30% of the ocean and coastal areas by 2030. It's a high task, a very high task for us all. None can dodge it, lest we are prepared to see millions of species go in the way of extinction. So in that regard, I commend for your attention the 30 by 30 Ocean Action Plan that was launched at the UN Ocean Conference in Nice last month by the Friends of Ocean Action, in which is outlined the high potential pathways to accelerate progress on achieving 30 by 30. The best advice I can give member states is that to be a fully fledged ocean-friendly player, the signing, ratifying, and implementing of relevant multilateral agreements is necessary work at hand. I refer in particular to the BBNJ High Seas Treaty, to the WTO Agreement on Fisheries Subsidies, to FAO's Port State Measures Agreement, and to the IMO's Cape Town Agreement on the safety requirements for fishing vessels. I also urge all countries in the Gulf of Guinea to integrate ocean-based climate action into their nationally determined contributions ahead of COP30 in Belém this year. NDCs should reflect the full potential of the sustainable blue economy, not only as a strategy for mitigation and adaptation, but as a transformative engine for inclusive growth, scaling climate finance, and for long-term prosperity. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, coastal cities and regions across the Gulf of Guinea are experiencing the sharp edge of climate-induced changes, including sea level rise and erosion, salinization and infrastructure loss. These impacts, they are not abstract, they are real. They are eroding land, they're threatening livelihoods, displacing communities, and they're weakening national development. It's clear that the resilience of coastal cities and communities is fundamental to building sustainable and regenerative blue economies. In acceptance of that reality, the Ocean Rise and Coastal Resilience Coalition has been launched to serve as a platform for a global network of cities and regions and partners to share knowledge and build capacity and secure finance, dedicated finance, and undertake joint advocacy. With the UN's Global Center for Climate Mobility as its secretariat, the coalition is now welcoming coastal cities and regions in the Gulf of Guinea to join the coalition. And I'm recommending that membership of the coalition as a pathway to resilient, adaptive coastal futures. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's estimated the ocean provides us with about $2.5 trillion per annum worth of services, including climate regulation and food security. Thus, as we go about our business, let us take to heart the fundamental point that a sustainable, regenerative blue economy needs a healthy ocean. Let us also recognize that to achieve the full potential of a sustainable ocean economy, a just transition, incorporating inclusion and fairness, is critical. We've identified the essential equity challenges such as skill gaps, along with insufficient training and educational resources, especially in developing countries. So likewise, regional disparities in infrastructure and inadequate funding and institutional capacity are challenges that we have to surmount. Meanwhile, the march of progress rolls on. Since the launch of the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, the ocean economy has grown exponentially and is expected to double by 2030. So let us ensure the Gulf of Guinea is fully on board for this voyage to prosperity. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I'd like to mention some people who have been instrumental in the successful organization of this conference, and if you'll permit me, at the Ministry of External Relations in Cameroon, Minister Berbella and Secretary General Chin Moon and Ben Munjo, I have to mention you as well, have diligently carried us through from the onset. Many thanks are due to the office also of the President of the General Assembly in New York, in particular to Chef de Cabinet Yvo Fong and Professor Fabien Knott. Oceans 5 have been most generous in providing financial support for the convening of the conference, and I acknowledge with thanks the presence of Oceans 5 Executive Director Chuck Fox. Since the first days of organizing the conference through to her involvement here in Yaoundé, Cynthia Bazuno, the Director of Ocean Action 2030 at the World Resources Institute, has given invaluable service. On behalf of all present, I give thanks to her and those whom I've just mentioned. It only remains for me to express deepest appreciation to His Excellency the President, to the government, to the people of Cameroon for hosting this historic ocean conference on behalf of the Gulf of Guinea. As I said in the conclusion at the UN Ocean Conference in Nice last month, it's not so much what happens at the conference that matters, it's what happens after it. The same applies for the conference we're concluding here today. So with the conference's adoption of a ministerial declaration of high ambition, the Gulf of Guinea has got its work cut out for it. The declaration commits the region to progressing sustainable ocean management, to combating IUU fishing, and has provisions on maritime security, transparency and governance, finance, innovation, and ocean observation and data sharing. Yesterday, UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed and I met with representatives of the Gulf of Guinea Commission to advance the proposal for this task force to follow up on the work of the conference. Discussions were fruitful, with the United Nations standing ready to assist in the Commission's establishment and running of such a task force, with a view to advancing the sustainable blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea during the next 3 years, between now and the next UN Ocean Conference in 2028. There is only one ocean on this planet. It connects us all, and it's the common heritage of humankind. And so as the Gulf of Guinea goes about the intensive work program it has set for itself coming out of this conference, be assured that the world is with you in developing the full potential of an ocean economy that maintains a respectful balance between conservation and sustainable use. We all share in the challenges and opportunities that are presented. Only ask and the door will be opened. I thank you.
Sans plus tarder, permettez-moi d'inviter son Excellence, Monsieur le ministre des Relations extérieures, à bien vouloir prendre la parole pour son discours de clôture.
Excellencies, the President of the 79th United Nations General Assembly, the United Nations Secretary General's Special Envoy for the Ocean, distinguished head of delegation, head of diplomatic mission, representative of international organizations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. After 2 days of intensive proceedings, I would like to express on behalf of the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, our utmost gratitude to all the participants for their presence, their commitment, and the quality of their contributions to this international conference on sustainable blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, yet again, Yaoundé has just paid host to a landmark and strategic diplomatic moment, not only for our region, but even further afield. I am delighted that this event was a veritable interview of vision, commitment, cooperation, collaboration, responsibility, and most importantly, action. Excellence, Mesdames, Messieurs, les échanges que nous avons eus ont permis de confirmer une conviction Bleue n'est plus un concept académique, mais un impératif de souveraineté, de résilience et de prospérité partagée. Nous avons écouté, nous avons débattu, nous avons comparé nos réalités et nous avons confronté nos priorités. Mais surtout, nous avons su parler d'une seule voix, celle des États africains et de leurs partenaires désirant de replacer l'océan, les fleuves, les lacs et les côtes au centre de nos stratégies de développement durable. Nous repartons de Yaoundé avec plusieurs avancées. Des avancées concrètes pour lesquelles je vais seulement citer deux qui nous paraissent émerger de toutes les discussions. La première, c'est l'adoption de la déclaration de Yaoundé sur l'économie bleue durable qui encourage les États du Golfe de Guinée à mettre en place un fonds de solidarité, un fonds commun pour le suivi des activités de cet espace océanique. De plus, nous avons décidé de mettre en place un observatoire et une loi type dans ce domaine. Le deuxième point, c'est l'affirmation d'un engagement politique commun en faveur d'une gouvernance régionale et inclusive. Je salue tout particulièrement la volonté exprimée par les États participants de soumettre une résolution à l'Assemblée générale des Nations Unies dans la perspective d'une reconnaissance continentale et internationale des priorités du Golfe de Guinée en matière d'économie bleue durable. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, words aside, time is now for action. This conference should therefore kick a start to a sustainable regional process designed to bring into play the resources, expertise, and partnership essential to effectively transform our maritime economies. Cameroon, for its part, remains readily available to strive towards the effective implementation of the commitments and recommendations made during this Yaoundé gathering, together with its sister states, regional economic communities, the African Union, the United Nations, and all our partners. Excellences, Mesdames, Messieurs, je forme le vœu que la déclaration de Yaoundé soit un levier d'action au service des générations actuelles et futures. Que l'océan cesse d'être perçu comme un espace de vulnérabilité et devienne davantage un espace d'opportunité, de dignité et d'espoir pour notre continent. Bon retour en vos pays respectifs. Vive la coopération régionale, vive l'Afrique bleue, je dis encore l'Afrique bleue. Je vous remercie pour votre bienvenue.
Excellences, Mesdames